What's up, you guys? Justin and Michelle, and we have got a really cool video for you guys today. So Dave Ramsey, I'm sure a lot of you know who he is. He's been speaking a lot. He's been doing some podcasts and videos. He wrote a really interesting article about the prediction for the housing market in 2022. So Justin and I are here today to talk about that, kind of break it down and tell you guys what we think as well.
Yeah, so this was just written 5 days ago on June 22nd of 2022. And kind of the title is will the housing market boom or crash?
Yeah.
Prices go up, prices go down. So we're going to cover all of that with you guys today, share his opinion versus our opinion here in Utah specifically. And there's a lot of national stuff in there as well.
For sure.
So
Yes.
Michelle, we came out with a video a couple weeks ago stating that prices in Utah weren't doing so well.
Yeah.
But now here we are today, and Dave Ramsey's saying you should totally buy a house. Prices aren't going to be going down. So let's break it down piece by piece.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
first thing is, the question that they talk about is, will buyer demand for housing remain strong?
Yes.
They think that there's still a lot of buyers out there that are willing to pay for the property, that have the money, the interest rate.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Nationally, I think that could happen, but as far as local markets go, Utah being one of them, where we saw, some of the fastest appreciation in the nation. Utah, Idaho, Washington, Oregon one too. Yeah, all those markets. I don't think that's the case, just because we saw such fast appreciation. We're seeing a correction with that now, and we're seeing it pretty significantly. So
if prices only went up in your state 6 or 8% last year, that's doable, even though rates have pretty much doubled.
Yes.
However, if prices went up almost 30% in your state, like they did in Utah, and interest rates double, that's going to price a lot of buyers out of the market. And that's exactly what they've done. And as you guys see on this graph, they predicted buyer traffic in Utah to be extremely hot, high, red, and that is not the case.
It is not the case
so
at
far.
all. Yeah, it's not the case. We've seen a lot of pullback.
Early in 2022 it was.
Yes.
But not since rates have gone up.
Exactly.
So next part of the article, they're talking about, will housing inventory still be low? At the start of 2022, we had about 1,700 homes on the market in Utah.
Which is insanely low.
Big time.
Huge, crazy low.
Do you agree that inventory will still be really low here in Utah or not?
No, I don't. We have, we watch this religiously. Every single week we see inventory go up about by 500 active homes on the MLS. It's been consistent. We can almost predict it with absolute certainty. So no, at least not in Utah. I don't agree with that.
1,700 to January to 7,800. Now the end of the June, that is absolutely perfect data.
Yeah.
Stating that inventory is increasing like crazy. And because inventory is increasing like crazy, that's why we said prices were going to go down. That's why some prices have already started to go down. And why that trend might continue, because the opposite was true last year. When there's low inventory and a lot of demand, prices go up. When there's high inventory and low demand of buyers, people are going to have to discount their prices to compensate for that.
The laws of supply and demand.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay. We are going to talk about a little bit, will there be a lot of foreclosures in 2022?
Well,
they say no.
Yeah.
Do you agree or do you disagree?
That one is a little bit tricky. So if we start seeing some foreclosures, we could start to see more. And it depends on if people are losing their jobs is a big factor. I mean, if people are
big time recession, and people get fired, then that's gonna happen. But we haven't seen hardly any foreclosures. Doesn't look like many are coming on board, and so unless something big happens, we agree with what they're saying about there not being very many foreclosures in 2022. So we finally agree on something.
People would have to start getting fired like crazy, so.
Yes. Okay, next question, and this is the one that kind of set me off a little bit.
Okay.
I saw it on a video actually. Dave was speaking on his podcast. He was talking to somebody, and he was talking about how now is a perfect time to buy the house.
Mm-hmm.
The prices are not going to go down,
Mm-hmm.
and that he thinks that prices are going to keep going up. And so even though rates are higher,
Uh-huh.
you can refinance later.
Okay.
And so you might as well get in now before prices go higher. But that's just not true here in
Yeah,
Utah. And I think
yeah.
it's important for people to know in some states that
Yeah.
might be true, right? But you
right.
can't say that on a blanket statement.
For
Nationally,
For sure.
because of how much we went up. I mean, our average price home is 600 plus thousand here in Utah
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
Tennessee, where Dave lives, is how much?
Just below 300,000. So I mean, that's a huge difference.
Yeah,
Huge difference.
and so what we think on a national level
Mhm.
is that there is going to be people or country or states or counties and cities that, yeah, they might not see prices really go down.
Yeah.
They might even see prices go up a little bit.
Mhm.
But that's because you live in a lower end price range that doesn't change so much.
Yeah.
We saw one the other day in Louisiana.
Yeah.
How much was that house?
80,000, and we looked back and the value had not changed at all over the last, what was it, 5 years?
No, 10 years.
10 years.
It's like 2012,
Yeah.
it was 80,000.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
now 2022, it's still $80,000. So
Right,
like
right.
2012, just so you guys know, was like the bottom
Mhm.
of the real estate market, the very beginning of 2012. So it was shocking
Yeah.
to see that they had seen like no appreciation
Yeah.
over the last 12 years, when Utah prices over the last 10 years have
Oh my goodness.
doubled, like 2.5 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? We've gone up 150% or something
Mhm.
like that in the last 12 years. So that was a really big shock. So he's saying that nationally, that prices aren't going to go down. What do you say about prices going down in 2022?
Oh, that's a good one. I disagree with this one. I think that it's happening already. And in my opinion, I think it is going to continue to happen. The question is, when is it going to stop is yet to be determined. But in 2022, as far as I'm concerned, I think they're going to continue to go down.
Yeah. And price range is really important, right?
Yes, that's a big one too. Yes.
600,000 and plus is the price range we've seen hit the hardest.
Big time. Yeah.
The 500,000 hasn't been quite hit as hard. And then of course the 400 and below,
Yeah.
really, I mean, those prices maybe gone down a teeny bit, but not
as
very much.
Yeah.
So what price range you're in matters. And that makes sense because we have more first-time home buyers
Mhm.
than we do people that can afford $1 million house.
Yeah.
And so that demand can stay strong, but the people that are affording $1 million house, now that interest rates are much higher,
Yeah.
they've got to compensate for that payment. And so they're a lot more willing and able, because they're already probably in a mid-level house where they don't have to move,
Yeah.
right? Versus if you're a first-time home buyer, you're paying rent, like
Yeah.
through the roof.
Mhm.
You've potentially got a growing family where you
Yes.
need more space. So there's a lot of necessity in that lower end price range for those first time home buyers, which is going to keep that area strong. So not only is this stuff matter for different parts of the nation,
Yeah.
but it also matters in what price range you guys are shopping in.
Yeah, that matters big time.
So last two things we're going to cover is 2022 a good year to buy a house for a buyer? Dave says absolutely, because prices are going up. I can't highlight this on the screen. What do you say?
I say just be smart about it. There are going to be good deals out there. There are going to be great opportunities, but just be very wise about it. Ask us if you have any questions and we can give you, our honest opinion about what we think.
Yeah, because good deals are popping up,
Yeah,
right?
they do.
They're people dropping their price 50 grand, and it wasn't really a bad deal
Yeah.
before, but now that they dropped it 50 grand, now it's like a good deal.
Really good
right?
deal,
It's
yeah.
like jump on that. That's a good buy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last question. How about for sellers? What advice do you have for sellers in selling in 2022?
Yes, I advise them to price their home competitively, because the best priced home that's in the best condition always sells the fastest and for the most money. So just
In any market.
any market.
Any market.
Yeah.
So whether we go up, down, right? Like being competitive. No more of this like, oh, let's just price it 50 grand high
Yeah.
and see what happens. You're gonna have to look at the active comps. You're gonna have to see what's around you, how much inventory is around you.
Yeah.
Because before it was like 30 buyers competing for one home,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now it's switched to one buyer
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
gonna buy something, now has 30 homes to choose from. And if you're not that one, it might take a while for you to get your house sold. And if prices drop even more, you're gonna wish that you had priced it better.
It's true. Thanks, guys.
See you later.